El-Sayed built his entire campaign around getting foreign money out of politics, Yet his campaign was funded by designated terror groups that he supports and has a history of supporting. How do you justify that as a voter? To fill you in, lying terrorist, Abdul El-Sayed won the Democratic Senate nomination in Michigan, and it's a really, really big deal. Why? Because he's a radical jihadist. Welcome to DayeTime. I am your host, Avery Daye. Okay, we're going to get into Abdul El-Sayed. He is so manipulative. Every clip I see of him, he makes my skin crawl. It's such lying, taqiyya, like bad vibes. We're going to start with really what he ran his entire campaign on, which was getting money out of politics, no money in politics, no foreign money. He blames Israel for everything. I don't want any money going towards Israel. Less than 1% of our foreign aid goes to Israel, but whatever. I'm not even going to focus on this because you know what? I'm tired. I'm tired of hearing about Israel from everybody. And that is not what is going on here, but the progressive Democrats that are not progressive, they're jihadists like this guy, which we'll get into. These jihadists, they're using Israel as a scapegoat to get people to vote for them. They're just capitalizing off this hatred towards Israel. And when you start seeing it, you can start seeing through everything, and it's just gross. Like I don't want to partake in it. Okay, so here's what he based his political campaign around.
To the 2028 Democratic presidential field as it still forms if you win tonight, what should they take from your...
Welcome to Michigan. I hope you try to spend all your time here, and I'm happy to show you around so long as you want to get money out of politics, put money in your pocket, and pass Medicare for all. If not, yeah, I'm gonna dog you up and down the state.
Okay. So he says all this. Meanwhile, this man has accepted more than $115,000 from at least 41 individuals who worked for or have had leadership roles with CAIR, the Council on American Islamic Relations, which, by the way, has been designated a terrorist organization by the UAE. The UAE, a Muslim country, can acknowledge that this is a terrorist organization. It's also been labeled such as Texas and Florida. In Texas and Florida, they've done this as well. But it's a terrorist organization. Okay, the donor list includes several of CAIR's highest ranking officials. The names on this donor list, honestly, it just angers me. This is not American. There's nothing American about this donor list. We have board chair Manal Fakhouri, national board treasurer Ayas Abdin, national vice chair Ahmad Sabha, and CAIR Michigan board member Chukaku Tayeb, who's his father-in-law, Abdul El-Sayed's father-in-law. And Takeover, his father-in-law, has been one of the largest financial backers of the super PAC supporting El-Sayed's campaign. He is also part of the founding committee of the Islamic Society in North America, a group linked to Hamas and Muslim Brotherhood funding. Known terror ties to politicians in America that the Democratic Party is supporting. And then we had another donor, CAIR Executive Director Nahid Awad, listed in FEC records under the name Nahad Hamad. I'm so tired of these names. I'm so tired of it. Drew national condemnation after saying he was happy to see Hamas break out of Gaza on October 7th. Celebrated it. It's terrorism. And maybe you're thinking, just because he accepted money and has affiliation with these groups, doesn't mean he actually believes it, right? Wrong. Super wrong, unfortunately. We hear all the time from the Dems or the progressives that Muslims aren't wanting to implement Sharia law in the US and in Western countries. They're here for a better life, you guys. They're here for a better life, which, oh, by the way, is shit because of Sharia law and Islam. But listen to El Sayed in his own words at a CAIR event in Oklahoma. It's really bone chilling. And this reporting is credit to Amy Meck on X.
And that was question 755. When the state of Oklahoma voted in a referendum to amend the Constitution to ban Sharia law. What does that mean? I don't know.
You don't know?
And yet the voters banned it anyway. What I offer today is just a reflection on the American history that runs through this state. You all sitting in this room, in this town, we're sitting in a space, in a time when I don't have to tell you that the same exact forces that drove native peoples from their land 2 centuries ago, destroyed Black Wall Street a century ago, bombed a building decades ago, and tried to ban Sharia law not a decade ago, that those forces are alive and well today. We see it in conversations across our country. People who fear what offering basic access to the ballot, a democratic tradition in this country, might mean for their sense of power.
There's nothing democratic
And so
about
have turned their
Sharia law.
backs on democracy to begin with. We see it in discussions that tell us that we cannot talk about the history of racism that I just mentioned. We can't mention those things. They're too divisive, let alone the attitudes that created them in the first place. They tell us that we can't look back, we just have to look forward. Because they want us to forget everything that came before. It's tempting in a moment like this to believe that the worst is behind us. But it's tempting to believe that those things are in the past. But they say those who forget their history are doomed to repeat it.
This is so rich coming from him, and we'll get into
Tonight
why.
we're here
Also
to
talk
support
about
an
rewriting
organization
history.
dedicated to the civil liberties and civil rights of Muslim Americans. But I don't want to press you. I want to press us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran Kareem, He tells us, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, O you who believe, kunu qawwamina billah, shuhada'i lil qist. ولا يجرمنكم شنآن قوم على ألا تعدلوا اعدلوا هو أقرب للتقوى. O you who believe, stand firm with God. Be witnesses to justice.
There you have it.
And do not allow the hatred that other people have for you to keep you from doing justice. Do justice. That is closest to
It's
consciousness
jihad.
of God. It's easy when we reflect on our own
That's the
history
language of jihad.
as a small community,
The
brought
Muslim
together
Brotherhood in Egypt
across
uses it all the time.
ethnic backgrounds, racial backgrounds, to assume that justice is just us. And the reason I wanted to go all the way back to the 1830s is because you can't understand a Sharia ban without understanding the Trail of Tears. You can't understand the efforts to uproot Muslim Americans without understanding the Tulsa Massacre. You cannot understand the challenges we face today without understanding white supremacy. We have to set it in the context of our history. But here's the thing. The beautiful thing about our opportunity today is that we have a choice in front of us about what we do next. Ask yourself, what is the change that I can make? What is the step that I can take to acknowledge the consequences of history, to bend a future so that we and I and our community can be witnesses for justice?
Witnesses for justice. That's a call for jihad. That is the translation. There's no other way to put it. There you have it. He compared Oklahoma voters who rejected Islamic law in America, who reject Sharia law in American courts, to the people who drove Native Americans off their land, burned Black Wall Street, and bombed a federal building. He said resistance to Sharia is the same as racism and hatred and rooted in white supremacy. The resistance to Sharia law. That means he wants to implement Sharia law in the United States. And did you hear that about all his justice he said over and over? That's what they do to justify their jihad. We've seen it. The Muslim Brotherhood uses it. It's their thing in Egypt. It's what El Sayed supported with the Muslim Brotherhood political wing. There's a Muslim Brotherhood political wing in Egypt called the Freedom Justice Party. And it was just an extension of the Muslim Brotherhood, which is, of course, a full terror organization that has, it's their mission to destroy the Western world. They have a 100-year plan to destroy it from within. They're executing on it. And Abdul al-Sayed, he's Egyptian. He defended Mohammed Morsi, who was the leader in Egypt after the 2011 Arab Spring that kicked out Mubarak. And Morsi gave himself unlimited power. He appointed all his Muslim Brotherhood friends to run the country. Guess what happened? They implemented Islamism throughout the country. They turned it to a shithole. They killed the Christians and all minorities and oppressed women and anyone who critiqued them, disagreed with them. Just made life worse, tanked the economy, turned it to a shithole. I mean, Morsi was an Islamic jihadist, Muslim Brotherhood. And Abdul al-Sayed defended him. In 2012, he signed a joint statement by Egyptian Americans that was all about Morsi's defense. It called Morsi's decisions, revolutionary decisions that were necessary. And it pledged full support to Morsi. It gets crazier. During the uprising, he criticized the Obama administration for being too cautious and not supporting Morsi. He wrote opinion pieces on it. He downplayed fears that the Muslim Brotherhood would dominate the outcome if Mubarak fell. And he suggested that American concerns about an Islamist takeover were exaggerated or rooted in prejudice and bigotry. And then, in hindsight, now it's widely acknowledged that the revolution he supported opened the path for the Muslim Brotherhood and Mohammed Morsi to spread terror, because that's what terrorism does. That's what they do. Spread terror throughout Egypt. Sound familiar? He's doing the same thing in America today. He's lying about everything. He's trying to rewrite history. He is trying to eradicate our history, American history. Watch this. Watch this clip. He lies about absolutely everything.
Abdul is as American as any other name in this country. It's one of the strongest American names that you can have.
The fuck it is. The fuck it is. This is about the erosion of white history. It's obviously a lie, but it's a deliberate one to erase American history. And it's a step towards the normalization of Islam in America. And it works too. It works. Moderate or your everyday person that's not super involved in politics will think, who cares what his name is? Why are these crazy far-right extremists crying about someone's name? They're racist. They're triggered by everything. They're triggered by a name. Who cares? No, it's a big deal because we understand the patterns of conquest and what he's doing. It is also worth noting that his parents were immigrants from Egypt, as were a lot of these radical DSA and Islamist candidates that have been elected in the Democratic Party, all people that really shouldn't have been in our country to begin with. It's why policy matters. It's why who you vote for matters. You want to end up like this. Michigan. It's The Handmaid's Tale, Ninja Turtle themed. Oh, but Avery, you should respect their culture. No. If I go to one of their 50 plus 57 countries, I'll respect it there if I don't get killed first. But no. There's nothing free about this. There's nothing liberating for women about this. If you think there is, you're a fucking idiot and you're part of the problem. You are so brainwashed. There's nothing. As a free woman, how could we look at these women that have been covered head to toe and say that this is liberating for them? This is a culture we should not accept in our country. How dare you tell me that I have to accept it, to tolerate them, when they would never tolerate my way of life, ever? All you have to do is listen to them. This was literally August 2nd, by the way, a few days before Jihad radical El-Sayed won the Democratic nomination for Senate. First Muslim in Senate if he wins. It was the annual Shiite Arbaeen procession. It's commemorating the 40th day after the martyrdom of Imam Hussein, a grandson of Muhammad, at the Battle of Karbala in 680 CE. And it was organized by Iraqi American groups. And I'm annoyed by it. I don't want it in America. I don't want it. And I don't want to normalize it. And I'm not going to normalize it. Some of the participants were carrying or wearing symbols linked to Iranian-backed groups, including flags of US designated terror organizations like Hezbollah in Iraq, Iraqi Hezbollah, Iranian flags, Iranian-backed mobilization forces, Popular Mobilization Forces, PMU flags, and Lebanese Hezbollah headbands. They're supporting terrorists and they're in our country. And the Democrats are going to tell us that we have to tolerate it when they quite literally want to kill us. They want us dead. They're telling us from the comfort of our own country, while they elect a radical jihadist practicing taqiyya to win over the uneducated liberal vote that wants to be inclusive of people who will not include them, and not just not include them, will take it so far as to kill them, because that is what their religion is. It is one of conquest, and we've seen it time and time again, over and over. They tell us over and over, and we're not listening, and we're paying for their stay. There are many like El-Sayed that will take control of the Democratic Party completely, totally. It's going to take over because there's going to be no such thing as a moderate Democrat anymore. And a lot of their voter base doesn't even know it. They don't know what they're voting for. They think that they're voting for inclusion for everyone. They think that the Republicans are being racist. No, we're not. We just understand that this culture is one of conquest. We understand that this culture is not compatible with other cultures because they kill people who disagree with them. Your women's rights that you love so much, your basic human rights that you love so much, it's not the norm on a global scale. But you guys are so focused on blame the Jews, blame the Europeans, blame the white guy, blame the Republicans, and then wonder why stuff like this happens. Freedom is worth fighting for. It's not free. Not everyone has it. It has to be protected. And instead, you guys are voting for people, the Democrats are voting for people who quite literally are calling for the destruction of America. And uneducated voters are falling for it. The best thing that we can all do, we have to be loud. There's no such thing as a silent majority anymore. You have to speak out against this. You have to not say, oh, it's uncomfortable to talk about politics. If you want future generations to enjoy the same freedoms you have, you have to. Like, subscribe. We'll see you next time.